Good morning. It's Friday, January 3rd. And every 4 to 8 years or so, we have an incoming president who has the opportunity to alter his predecessor's legal positions in cases pending before federal court. These are cases that have not been decided, but they're in the courts under trial at that point. And though legal 180 turnarounds are not uncommon, they can always affect major decisions for the future. So we have to take a look at some of the things that President Trump will have to take care of when he takes office in 18 days or so. When Biden took office, his Department of Justice was quick to reverse several of President Trump's administration's legal positions in early 2021. And the previous Trump presidency did the same for many of Obama's legal positions. In fact, the Trump lawyer who handled his criminal cases during the campaign is preparing to take on a new role as the Solicitor General and will likely follow a similar pattern in reversing legal stances held by the Biden administration. Now, I find that an interesting characteristic of our government. Presidents, when they take office, have the ability to take on different positions from their predecessors while those positions are in court but have not yet been decided. So we're going to see a big shakeup in about 17 or 18 days. I'm sure of that. So let's take a look at some of the things that might be happening at that point in time. There is a Supreme Court case that deals with rules and regulations pertaining to untraceable firearm kits, which are known as ghost guns. And that's a case that could conceivably be overturned by Trump. Trump will have to weigh competing interests between gun control advocates and gun rights groups pressing him to repeal the rule, and he will likely face pressure to file an amended brief at the Supreme Court. Now that rules that firearm kits are like guns, and they have to be treated like guns. Now, the NRA and Gun Owners of America have cited Trump's promises to roll back Biden-era regulation on firearms. And also, Trump took a lot of heat from pro-gun activists over a decision in his first term when he elected to throw his support under an alcohol, tobacco, and firearm bump stock ban following the 2017 Las Vegas mass shooting. So Trump was in favor of banning guns in some way, shape, or form. And that did not sit well with many of his constituents at that time. So that was during his first term. And I agree with him on that one. Another interesting case is the case in Tennessee, where there's laws barring transgender procedures for minors. The Biden administration has argued that Tennessee's law discriminates against transgender youth and violates constitutional protections. So the Supreme Court heard some oral arguments and is expected to reverse the government's decision, aligning with Tennessee and arguing that the law is an invalid exercise of state authority. So it's a case of not treating those children early in life with transgender desires, and Tennessee's wanting to squash the protection of those children. And the Biden administration has ruled against Tennessee. So even though the Biden administration swept in to defend the ACLU plaintiffs challenging the law, those parties will remain opposed to Tennessee's law no matter what happened when Biden departs office. So let us see what the Supreme Court does about that when President Trump takes office. All of these rulings will affect decisions that are going to be made by other states now and in the future. So we know we have a diverse country, and we know that different states believe in different rules and regulations, but there are certain things that belong under a different ruling. Universal humanity, treating all people the same way no matter who is in charge. You can't treat people from one state differently than you want to treat people from another state. All states should be treating people equally on all issues. It's a terrible situation when we have state-by-state recognition of the facts of life. That is not the way a great country survives. Yes, there can be opposition, and yes, there can be opinion, but there cannot be rules that change the lives of people over insignificant factors. And I'm not talking that sexuality is an insignificant factor, but in many cases we have other factors that are really insignificant and can change the course of people's lives forever. And I don't think it's the business of government to rule on those matters. So I leave you with that. I am for a free and open society. Have a great day. Bye.
Thank you.